having me. My name is Gerald Clift, and I work with the Rescue California Educational Foundation. And what we advocate is smaller legislative districts in California. And we do this for a few reasons. We believe that it would increase constituent access to legislators. We believe that it gets a lot of the money out of these races. And we believe that it empowers normal citizens to run for these races. So California has the largest legislative districts in the country, by far. Our lower house is one member for every 450,000 people. The next largest is Texas, and there's about a third of what ours is. On the other end of the spectrum, though, you have a state like New Hampshire. They have one member for every 3,000 people. And a recent LA Times article said that the average assemblyman in California has to raise $700,000 to win a race here. The average lower house member in New Hampshire has to spend $793 to win a race in that state. It's a huge disparity in the cost that it takes to win one of these races. So in California, it shouldn't be any surprise to us that we have a lot of scandals. Like, for example, there was the SAC-B article a few weeks ago about Senator Calderon allegedly taking tens of thousands of dollars from an FBI informant pretending to be a undercover Hollywood lobbyist, and when he got caught, it kind of highlighted the problem with the system. But our system encourages this, because if you need hundreds of thousands of dollars to run, you have to be looking for people that are going to write you thousands of dollar checks. Another really bad example, a few years ago, Assemblyman Duvall was caught on open mic on a subcommittee bragging about how he had sex with a lobbyist, and the implication being that she traded services for favors. They were both married, huge scandal. He had to resign within about 24 hours, the LA Times article about it. But again, it's very sad. You don't have these types of problems in a lot of other states. I mentioned New Hampshire. There's about 12 states with lower house districts that are one for every 10,000 members or less. And California used to be this way in 1880. We had one member for every 10,000. We just haven't adjusted for over 100 years. But these states, according to a recent Rose Institute study, it's about 100 pages long, they tend to be less partisan. They tend to introduce less legislation, but they pass more of it. They tend to have more ideological diversity, so people won't feel boxed into Republican or Democrat when they're running on issues. They can talk more about community issues, be specific about what they want to do. And they have more gender diversity. The New Hampshire legislature has 39% women in their lower house. And they're, I believe, the only state that ever had a majority of women in their state senate. But there are lots of issues, too, that are just ignored by our legislature because our districts are so large that they don't feel they have to pay attention to constituents as much as they do special interest. Roads is a perfect example. Almost every year, the state of California takes the gas tax fund, which is set aside specifically for roads, and spends it on everything but roads. And it's gotten so bad, there was a recent NBC article about how it costs the average Bay Area driver about $700 a year just driving on the roads around here. And another really bad example is on the federal level, but again, because districts are so large, it's really easy for someone to come up to a congressman and say, find $10,000 or hundreds of thousands of dollars in the budget for me, and I'll help you with your campaign. And they've been choosing the Social Security fund for the last 3 decades. And it's gotten so bad that since the 1980s, we've actually rated $2.3 trillion of Social Security and spent on other programs. That's according to a recent CNN article, a recent Government Accountability Office report. I mean, this is a program that was entrusted to the government to protect retirement funds, and it's been rating it to spend on everything else. So it's gotten so bad, we're actually spending more than is coming in for the first time in history, because all that money was supposed to be getting interest is just gone. But in addition to those particular problems, what makes small districts so special is that you can get past the noise of the special interest politics. Like, if you have a small district and someone's spending thousands of dollars on mailers, TV ads, and newspaper ads, you can go door to door and refute any misinformation and talk to voters on an individual basis. That's what's done in New Hampshire to get out their cell phone numbers. So what we're really excited about is a new initiative that's being proposed in California that would actually reduce the legislative districts in California State Assembly and California State Senate. It would take the state assembly districts and make it one member for every 5,000 people, and take the state senate districts and make it one member for every 10,000 people. So immediately you should be thinking to yourself, well, that's going to be a lot of people, and it will be. It will be at 8,000 for the assembly and 4,000 for the state senate. And the way we prevent all the chaos of having thousands of bills being written and thousands of people co-sponsoring a bunch of bills is we take the existing districts that are written by the Citizens Redistricting Commission. We've carved 100 mini districts in all of those. We have those 100 people meet once and choose amongst themselves one person to go to Sacramento so we can have the existing structure of the 80 in the Assembly and the 40 in the Senate. And those people will deal with the intricacies of legislation, they'll do the co-sponsoring, they sit on subcommittees. But we're taking the existing structure we have of subcommittees, essentially. So right now, you elect an assembly member, but you don't get to vote on who's in the public safety subcommittee. The group of 80 assemblymen vote amongst themselves to send about 10 people to go to the public safety subcommittee, and that subcommittee acts as a barrier for legislation before it goes to a larger body. Similarly, the working committee will act as a barrier for legislation, dealing with the intricacies of legislation, before it goes to the larger body of the 8,000 assembly and the 4,000 in the state senate. Now, these neighborhood legislators, they're not going to be driving to the Capitol, they're going to be voting from home. They're not going to be paid, $100,000, they're going to be paid $1,000 a year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in New Hampshire, they only get $100 a year, and they're doing a lot more work. They have to drive to the Capitol, they have to write bills, they have to do amendments, they have to sit on subcommittees. None of that work is going to be done by these neighborhood legislators. And we'll still get good people to run for them, because even though the system has already worked in about 12 states, we already have good examples in California, neighborhood councils, neighborhood associations, homeowner associations. These are groups of people that get together to talk about issues that are affecting the community and how they can help, whether it be a new stop sign that's coming up or apartment complex nearby. But these people come together without pay. I mean, then you got Rotaries, you actually come together to pay money to help your community. So the amount of money, the $1,000 a year, I don't think should be an issue. But that also allows this initiative to save money over the course of decades and save about $1 billion according to a recent Legislative Analyst Office report that came out a few days ago, which you can find at lao.ca.gov, or talk to me after and I'll be more happy to send it to you. But I'm here today to first propose the idea to you, see what your reaction is, address any concerns or questions you have, and then also ask if you're interested in getting more information, just sign up. We'll send you an email about what's going on, like when we'll start gathering signatures. We just got permission from the Attorney General either yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday, to start gathering signatures. And we'll let you know if there's anything you can do to help, whether it be gathering signatures, telling a friend, or sending an email to someone.